Hello, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of the Scariest Storytime episode.
I thought you were going to do a Scariest Storytime live episode. Like, sometimes the different things come out of your mouth, and I never know when to woo. So nowadays, I either interrupt you or I wait for the silence.
Yeah. It's Halloween coming up, so we're doing...
If you're listening to the audio version of this, Halloween is 2 days ago, and we recorded this on Tuesday, which was the day before Halloween. So it's very... wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. I was yelled at for not saying that correctly.
It doesn't matter.
So,
I don't care.
I know, it's not linear, so
yeah,
it doesn't really
matter.
But anyways, we're doing a Storytime episode, which means we're going to be reading your homegrown horrors, which are stuff that has happened to you guys or you've been told about from someone you know, family, friends, what have you. And it's either supernatural, paranormal, spiritual. It could be creepy. It could be funny. But anything that you want to share with us, you can reach out to storytime@scarish.com. That is our email address. And if you send that to us, we will read it. So never be discouraged if you haven't heard your story yet. We are going to get to it. We are never going to leave something behind. And if you want to reach out to us in different ways, you can go to Facebook, facebook.com/scarishpodcast, message us there, click like, join the page, join the group, which is the Scarish Spooky Friends group. You can post there for some instant feedback. You can also join our Discord, which is scarish.com. Scroll down on the right-hand side, you'll see something that says join us on Discord. Click that, and you're there. You can also go to the Instagrams @scarishpodcast or the Twitter @scarishpod. That is a mouthful. It's a lot to say, but there's a lot of different ways you can reach out to us. So if you would like to reach out to us and get your story read, there's a bunch of different ways, and we totally encourage you to do that. So are you going first to start, or am I going first to start, Robin?
Thank you.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into my first one. This first one starts out like this. The subject is Night Shift Creep Show.
All right.
And it goes like this.
Sounds sexy.
Hi there.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Heather here, and I am from Western New York. I came across your podcast on Spotify while on a road trip. I can't believe I'm reading this wearing a fucking shark mask. While on a road trip, I listened on my commute into work and on the way home. Thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I look forward to episodes, so thank you. Wow, it's like she knew we were going to thank her. I get creeped out and have some laughs while listening. That's kind of what we're going for. Like, that's exactly what we're going for.
Especially dressed as we are right now.
Dressed ridiculous. The Snark just subscribed. Thank you so much for subscribing to Snark. We appreciate you. I have always been interested in the supernatural ever since I was a kid. So when I was approximately 25, I worked in an assisted living facility similar to a nursing home. I know what those are. I'm glad, because a lot of times I read these and I'm like, I'm dumb and I don't know what you're talking about. I started off working third shift, which is 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. We were required to go into the residents' rooms to take out dirty linens, put fresh ones in, and basically make sure everyone was alive and well, while being quiet to make sure not to wake anyone. There isn't a high demand for there isn't, I figured it would say there is, but there isn't a high demand for third shift workers, so we had maybe a handful of employees that worked that shift. I had one unit/wing of the facility to run, and another guy had another unit of the facility to run. He called me down to his unit one night to a room where an elderly woman resided. She collected a lot, in caps, of porcelain dolls. SpaghettiOs.
No,
I don't like where this is going.
One jumps off the shelf and murders everyone.
It was an elf on a shelf, probably, that jumps off the shelf and murders everyone.
No, elves on the shelves only do dirty things.
Really? That's weird.
I don't know. I don't know anything about the
I don't know why those words came out of your mouth.
It's because people usually put him in compromising situations.
Do they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought they were just supposed to watch your kids like Santa Claus. Cool. So let's get back to this. So she gets called down there. This old lady has a lot of porcelain dolls. It wasn't. I feel like you're not taking me seriously because I'm wearing this fucking shark on my head. It wasn't odd for me to see this since old people collect things, but when my coworker said to me, quote, "She has a child-sized doll in her rocking chair under that sheet over there,"
Shut up.
I got a little creeped out. He dared me to remove the sheet off the doll. Fuck that, dude.
It's like the boy.
It's kind of like the boy. She's in assisted living, so it's a little bit different. You're pretty sure someone's not living in the walls. Spoiler alert. I said F that, and needless to say, I let him lift the sheet off the doll. It was a child-sized porcelain doll. No biggie. The way the doll looked didn't scare me, but why was the sheet covering the doll?
Because no one wants to look at a creepy doll.
Well, then why would you have it in your room? So in the early a.m., when the residents woke up and came out to start their day, we asked the woman why she covered up just that one doll with the sheet. She replied, "If I don't put the sheet over her at night, her eyes move and watch me while I sleep."
Nope.
What
Big
the
ol'
fuck?
No dolls.
Whenever I had to walk by that room, I always had that thought and had goosebumps. I have some other spiritual stories that I rarely share with people. I used to work for a hospice and took care of the terminally ill. That's an amazing thing that you do.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do something like that.
It really is. Death can be scary, but I also learned death can be peaceful. But that's for another day. Thanks for doing what you're doing and keep on creeping on. Smiley face, Heather.
Thank you so much, Heather.
We appreciate you sending that in. That's really fucking good. That's what I always worry about when, like, I don't know, when I think about stories like nursing homes and like assisted living, it's like old people are going to have something really creepy, and it's really hard not to believe an old person sometimes, even though like if I was an old person, I'd just lie all the goddamn time and say I did like all these amazing things. But yeah, that's super fucking creepy that you'd have a doll that's covered.
Yeah. All right. So going into this story from Kyle, and it goes, "Hey, Rob and Adam, my
Hello.
name's Kyle." Hi, Kyle. I just watched Big Hero 6, so it's like, hello. That's how he says.
I know.
Yeah, okay.
I've seen it one time. I thought it was very good.
And I've been listening to your podcast on Spotify since your second upload.
Aw,
Awesome.
thank
That's
you.
like
And shout out to Spotify.
baby episodes.
Right, you're an OG.
I listen to you guys every night. A new episode is posted when I'm laying in bed for the night. Before sharing my brief experience, I wanted to admit that before joining the Discord and being able to actually read usernames, I was convinced that Robin's name was Robin Graves.
Graves?
Like Robin Graves.
That's
like Grave
hilarious.
Robin.
That's really funny. It's funny because I know some of your real names, but then I see you guys in the stream chat and I see you guys on Discord, and I'm like, oh, that's Glitchgrim. You know, and that's just because like I know your real names, but I'm like, that's who you'll always be.
Yeah.
So like me and my friends like covertly started playing World of Warcraft again when we were in college, but we're also going out and partying all the time. So we'd be at the bars and we'd be like at house parties playing like beer pong, and we'd be referring to each other by our World of Warcraft names because we were so used to being in like
game chat.
Yeah, game chat with each other. So it'd be like, hey there, like can you get me a drink? I mean John, sorry. Like give me a beer. So sorry about that. Just quick break in with more video game stuff.
Well, like for me, I always get called Robin in all my games anyway. Like when I played MapleStory, everyone called me Robin.
Never played MapleStory.
On Xbox, people call me Robin. On when I played WoW, I got called Robin. So it's just like something I have never really had another name that people have called me by.
Robin Graves now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Robin Graves.
It's really, really creepy. It's also hilarious.
Halloween.
It's funny because I feel like if some people were new to the podcast, they'd be like, I think that's bullshit. Her birthday is not Halloween. It really is.
No,
Legit,
it really is.
it is. So.
Yeah, I don't know how my parents worked it out, but they made baby me on Halloween.
I was born on Mother's Day, and my birthday every
That's
4 years
unfortunate.
coincides with Mother's Day. So, yeah, it's not unfortunate. I'm like, here's your gift.
I was gonna say
Me. Enjoy it.
What a crappy gift.
And then my mom's like, where's my real fucking gift? I'm kidding. She's never been that mean, and I always get her a gift.
Okay, so I always thought Robin's name was Robin Graves, which I thought was a fairly appropriate name given the theme of your content. That's hilarious. Anyways, feel free to share this on the podcast. I've always considered myself a hopeful skeptic. I very much enjoy reading about and listening to paranormal stories, but I also enjoy trying to figure out what else could have caused the activity besides spirits and demons.
Same. That's like exactly where I'm at.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, hopeful skeptic, where I'm like, not going to believe someone that's clearly full of shit, but I'm not going to shoot down someone who I think is telling the truth, even if it's like bizarre.
I'm just hopeful to not experience crazy things. I'm scared because I know I will chicken out and my anxiety will go through the roof. I'll have a panic attack and just, nope.
And that's the worst
No.
thing you can do when experiencing something like that, because like it's like falling down when you're running away from Jason Voorhees. Like that's just guaranteeing you're going to die.
Yeah.
So just saying.
During the zombie apocalypse, I will be one of the first to
She's
die.
lying. I've already told her this. I already told her the story of what's going to happen to her. Like, I'm going to die trying to save her, and my death is going to, like, get her, like, shit together, and she's going to survive, and she's going to wind up with, like, the hot male lead of whatever group she winds up in, and it's going to be because I fucking died at the
Who's
beginning.
the hot male lead?
I don't know. I would, you know what I would like it to be? I don't know why. Who I picture, like, in this story is McDreamy from Grey's Anatomy. But, like, the young version of McDreamy.
Nope, not my type.
That's who you're stuck with. There you go. I've decided it.
Ugh. Okay.
That's the zombie apocalypse for Robin. So.
All right. Yeah. That's an apocalypse. All right. Ending up with McDreamy.
Wow. I hope he listens, and I hope he's like kind of hurt by that.
Get wrecked.
Wow. You're fucking mean. Get back to your
You're
story.
my type.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Don't die.
So I guess like
Okay.
the fat guy who could read minds from Heroes, that's who you're going to wind up with?
No, Hiro
Parkman?
Nakamura.
Okay, that's fine. I'm
I'd be
cool
okay
with
with
that.
that.
I like Hero.
Okay, so my only personal experience that I can't explain happened briefly after I joined the military straight out of high school. It was my first time away from home and a pretty rough, I don't know why I thought I read that wrong, and a pretty rough adjustment for me as I grew up a spoiled child in a fairly well-off household. Read reformed brat. That's funny. Jinx, you owe me a soda.
It's the second time we've done it, so.
Okay.
You can't really jinx me not to talk. We're recording a podcast.
Yeah, but you owe me a soda.
Okay, cool.
That was the jinx.
All right, I'll get you a soda.
Okay.
What kind of soda do you want?
Not soda, more like, I don't know, juice.
Should I go right now?
No.
Okay.
Ooh, an icy. The caramel apple slush freeze thing from Taco Bell.
I will say, I've been doing really good on this dieting thing, and then that Taco Bell giant chalupa box came out where you can win an Xbox, or when you turn it on, it does the Taco Bell ding. And I have not hit that place up as much as I thought I would, but I've gone more often than I'm proud of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
No Xbox for me yet, though.
I never even had to do my own laundry as a child. I remember growing up and sobbing into the dirty piles of clothes, just laying on the floor in all the family's laundry, crying.
I remember my 13th birthday, and the first thing my mom did was like, happy birthday. I was like, thank you. She's like, come with me. And she showed me the washer, and she showed me how it worked. She's like, you're a teenager now. Do your own fucking laundry.
Oh, nope.
She walked away. I was like, are you serious? She's like, yep, I did it to your brother, too.
Yeah, it's like memories for me of when I was probably elementary to early middle school, and me and my sisters would sit around doing laundry, and I'd get so sick of it, and I'd just flop over in it crying. I was a weak,
if you would have spun
child.
it, you could have washed it at that exact same time in your tears. It's like you would have been your own personal spin cycle.
The first time my mom made me wash dishes, I was just like, what the fuck?
That's so
Because
funny.
I'm like 9. You know?
I got
like,
chores.
What the hell?
I think I got chores at 7, maybe earlier than that. And it was like we had to sweep the floors, we had to do the dishes, and clean the countertops every night. And like we would alternate each week for who would do what. So me and my brother, if you swept the floors, that's all you did. And if you did the dishes, you also wiped down the countertops. So he just eventually started paying me half of his allowance, which was like $10 every 2 weeks because I was a fucking sucker to just do his chores for him. And I didn't ever think about the fact that like he was getting $5 to do jack shit. So
that's hilarious.
He was much smarter than me. He's 4 years older than me growing up. And at some point I'm like, I'm not doing this shit anymore.
Because my parents worked hard to a fault to ensure I didn't have to grow up rough like they did. One of the duties I had to pull in the Army was called fire guard, which is basically guard duty while all the other soldiers slept, making sure no one sneaks into the barracks. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a hair in my eyeball.
I thought my face was about to bust out in like hives when I was wearing that stupid shark thing around my eyes. You're fine.
Okay. Right. People not sneaking into the barracks, doing stuff. Most nights were pretty boring, so we took to doing shifts during duty hours and taking care of our laundry. To set the scene, our barracks were one large room with 30 bunk beds, basically exactly the same as what you see in the movie Full Metal Jacket.
Right on. Totally picture it right now.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Full Metal Jacket?
Nope.
my
I
God.
honestly don't watch a lot about the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
I can't.
I can see that.
Nope, yeah. I'm good. I've grown up on the stories.
One day when I meet your dad, I hope to talk to him about that war because I know that he was an active
He doesn't want to
participant.
talk about that. He wants to talk about like Jackie Chan, Jet Li.
I mean,
shit.
yeah, we're going to talk about that shit
Someone's
first.
redeemed a question.
Oh, shit. 143am has redeemed Ask a Question. Let me go over here and see what it was. Also, it looks like we got a new follower.
Yay!
You go ahead and say that one.
Clintar Mortem.
Thank you for following us. We appreciate
Sorry.
it. The question 143am has asked with their souls, which you can collect if you're watching on Twitch, is, I love you guys.
Aw.
No question.
That's so nice.
Thank you so much. And also, I just want to say that 777, when they donated $20.68, the message that they sent along with that was 69. Oh, yeah. I fucking knew it. I knew that was the reason why that happened. So,
Oh my god.
good to know. Okay, let's go ahead and
All
jump
right.
back into it.
Okay, so Full Metal Jacket. There's a metal door next to the exit that leads to the laundry room, which is essentially a hallway lined with washers on one side and dryers on the other side, with a table coming out of the wall to fold uniforms. There's only enough space to squeeze between the machines and grab clothes to move to another machine or take back to our bunks. At night, since all the overhead lights are off, the only light in the barracks is the red glow from the exit signs. I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, when the room is completely cast in red, that's not creepy
It's
or
like
anything.
something out of a horror movie.
A little bit, or a movie like, I don't know, Full Metal Jacket. What? Why did you freeze?
I'm just like,
I mean, there's a very distinct scene with Vincent D'Onofrio at nighttime where like there's the glow of like the red exit signs and then he's in the bathroom. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I will say the most weight an actor has ever gained for a role was Vincent D'Onofrio for his role in Full Metal Jacket. He gained like 90 pounds because he was super skinny. And then the next role he had after that was the guy who looks like Thor in Adventures in Babysitting, where he looks like fucking Thor. That's Vincent D'Onofrio.
He's the guy from Daredevil?
Yeah, he's Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio is Kingpin because,
Wow.
he's fatter now that he's older, but he's a wonderful actor. And I don't know how many of you guys know that about Vincent D'Onofrio. Yeah, he's fucking great. I
Mind
love him.
blown. All right, cool.
You're welcome. Some Vincent D'Onofrio trivia in the fucking movie trivia corner.
During my turn to do laundry, I walked into the laundry room and used a small flashlight I had that had a red lens. Oh, nope. To find my way to the machine my clothes were in. Red sign, red flashlight. Like, what? Why? We weren't allowed to use regular white light at night because it was more likely to wake other people up. Oh, okay. And using red light preserves for night vision.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That's why when you have because my brother was in the military, he used to get me stuff from I forget what the store is that they call for on base, but he used to get me flashlights and they come with filters so you can change the light color.
Mm-hmm.
And the filter that they always had on there by default was red because it preserves your pupils from adjusting.
Neat.
Yeah, I've also been yelled at by a drunk guy in the woods during a hunting trip where it's like, you're making everyone night blind because I had a regular flashlight.
Did you tell him to get fucked?
I was like, it's pointing at the ground. What the fuck is your problem? He was super wasted. I was waiting for him to fall into the lake.
Okay. After I switched my clothes over from the washer to the dryer, I turned my flashlight off because I could see the red glow of the exit light through the little plexiglass window on the door and figured it was a straight line to the door so I wouldn't need it. I took a few steps and immediately bumped into something. I turned my flashlight back on to see that the wooden chair that was previously tucked under the table for folding uniforms had been pulled out and was facing me in the darkness. Okay, I thought it was going to be something super creepy. That is creepy, but I thought it was going to be I bumped into a body that wasn't there.
What she's saying is she's not impressed.
No! Okay.
Joking, don't get upset.
When I read it, what I imagined is you bump into something, you don't, you turn your flashlight on and you don't see anything. You bump into...
Right, you ran into something that's not there.
Right. That freaks me out. Ugh. Okay.
And it's an invisible person excuse me.
So, anyway, but this chair that's not supposed to be there is out in the middle of this walkway.
Got it.
It was completely blocking the hall. So there's no way I could have walked past it on my way in, and I didn't even hear it slide out from under the table. I definitely would have noticed someone opening the heavy metal door frame, the full metal
That's hilarious.
to come in, so I know no one else was there. I felt my blood run cold and chills went down my spine, but rather than freak out, I felt this strange sensation of calm. I pushed the chair back under the table and walked out of the laundry room past the person who was coming on shift to replace me and nonchalantly said, "Laundry room's haunted," to which they replied, "Creepy."
Wow.
What? I'm sure you see worse things.
Yeah.
I mean...
It really,
So-
yeah. I would think that that's the least of your worries at that point, but who the fuck knows? Maybe they had a really good run of it, and then all of a sudden that happened, and they're like, damn it.
Well, when my dad was in the military during the Vietnam War, he would tell me people would literally go into the rooms full of all the bodies of people and take naps there so no one would bother them.
I've heard that before, yeah.
Yeah, it's why. Just do you want to be haunted for the rest of your life? Because that's
Right.
how you get haunted.
Do you want to get possessed? Do you want to get possessed?
Before telling anyone else that story, about 2 days later, another soldier in my unit told us a story about how he went into the laundry room the night after my experience, and when he was leaving, he claims he saw another soldier writing a letter at the folding table.
Oh, that's so fucking sad.
He tried to talk to the soldier, who then looked at him and faded away. Everyone called bullshit, but I don't know if he was just spinning a tale to entertain everyone. The coincidence of the setting really solidified my own experience for me. That's the only time I've ever had something creepy like that happen to me. I love what you guys do. I love how well you two work together with your jabs at each other. That's life. Please keep it up, and I'll happily await every new episode you two make.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kyle. That's awesome.
We appreciate that. That's a really good story,
It is
too.
a really good
It is so
story.
creepy when you have something happen to you and you rationalize it in your mind. You're like, okay, well, something happened, but no big deal. And then someone else brings it up to you later that they had an experience that's super similar to yours because you're like, now that shit's officially fucking haunted. That's super fucking creepy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. It's always nice of you guys when you send stuff in where you're like, I really love what you do. I'm going to keep listening.
Yeah.
And then I always wonder, this email's 2.5 months old. I wonder if at some point they're like, fuck them.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping.
No, it just takes us a little time. So if you guys have sent us stuff in the past,
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. It just takes us a while.
Yeah. But don't let that discourage you from sending us stuff. Like, I really want you guys to understand, like, if you guys are like, they'll never read my stuff and you don't send it, then we don't get to have story times anymore. So sometimes we have lulls in the amount of emails that we get. We really do. And then sometimes we get like 20 in a day. Not really. We've never had that many.
No, that'd be great though.
But that would be great. So, and if that doesn't wind up happening, we'll move from 6 stories per story time, like 8 to 10 stories per story time.
The story time episodes will take forever.
We'll probably talk with the chat less if that winds up happening on the live episodes. But hey, we'll do what we can to get through the stories that get sent to us. So we don't want to ever discourage you guys from sharing because we appreciate everything you send us. Okay, so I'm going to move on to my next story. This is my second one of the night. And this one's subject is because it's blank.
Oh.
So it starts out like this. Hey, Adam and Robin. Hello. My name is Alex, short for Alejandra, and they put in the pronunciation. Ow, you're poking me with your wand. That sounded weird. They put in the pronunciation.
Like
Don't worry, I'm not going to mispronounce Alejandra because of the song Alejandro by Lady Gaga, so shout out to her. I am 23, and I'm from Pennsylvania. I have been listening to your podcast since February through iTunes, so shout out to iTunes, I guess.
That's awesome.
And it's so funny because the way I discovered it was at work. I was bored out of my mind and nodding off when I thought, if I listen to something scary, that'll wake me up. But it can't be something too scary because then I won't sleep tonight. So I, no lie, searched scary-ish stories.
That's hilarious.
I think that's why we came up with it, which is sad because it took us, honestly, it probably took us like
a week.
Yeah, it took us like 7 to 10 days to figure out the name scary-ish.
And I just said it randomly, and Adam was like,
boom.
Yes, that's it.
We're done. We're done thinking of stuff.
So...
I scrolled past all the scary pictured ones because I was like, nah, that's too intense, until I stumbled upon that cute little ghost and listened to the pilot episode.
Yay!
And I've been a
That's
fan
super
since.
cool.
I'm very happy to hear
Yeah,
that.
that's awesome.
Exactly what I was looking for, and I just wanted to formally thank you guys.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Also, I talk to my fiance about you guys all the time, saying how similar you guys are to us. There's a 3-year gap between us. He's older, and he never gets my SpongeBob references, and I don't get most of his references, and I'm always kiddingly like, it's because you're so freaking old, dude.
Oh, no.
That is just like us, and I can't stand it. Then he freaks out saying, we're literally only 3 years apart.
It's because you got to be on that USS Imagination.
I can't stand you right now. Also, I asked him if he saw Zaboomafoo as a kid, and he was like, bless you? Honestly, there's just some age where you just don't know what the hell Zaboomafoo is. So I can relate to your pain, Robin. Sorry for the long intro, but it was long overdue.
It was good.
It was excellent. Oh, and by the way, you are definitely okay with sharing my story. Cool. So here's the story. My family is from Mexico, so most of the stories I will be sending here on out are from when they lived there because a shit ton of scary stuff went down. This story was told to me by my grandma and my aunt, my dad's mother and sister. Okay. This story takes place in the late 70s. At the time, my aunt was about 7 years old. She was the biggest tomboy. She loved being outside, climbing trees, playing with the neighborhood kids, and she was always getting into some kind of trouble. The family all lived in the same house. It was a very large house where there's like a big courtyard in the middle and surrounding it are the rooms. That's fucking awesome.
Nice.
This is a general picture of what I mean, or you can Google hacienda or Roman-style villa. And they attached a picture as well, so it looks just like you're imagining. So it was around 9 p.m., and in Mexican culture, they have a light meal/snack around 3 hours after dinner called merienda. I think I said that right. I hope I did. Everyone was gathering... I hate you so much. She's leaning across me right now to check it. I keep my font small, so I don't think you're going to be able to see it without your glasses.
No, I'm blind.
Everyone was gathering in the dining room to eat. My aunt was being stubborn and whining, saying she didn't want to eat, so my grandma got fed up and scolded my aunt and told her to go outside to the patio/courtyard. My aunt went outside and was crying for a while when she saw something in the sky. It's probably Superman.
UFO?
Gotta be Superman. She saw what she thought was a star, but it kept getting bigger and bigger because it was getting closer.
UFO.
So my aunt went to the glass sliding door that led to the dining room, and my grandma saw her, but was ignoring her at first, thinking my aunt was just trying to get attention. But my aunt was pounding on the door, repeatedly yelling, "Come look at this. You need to come look at it." So finally, my grandma was like, fine, I'll go.
Hilarious.
I love how this story is written. It's perfect. When my grandma looked up at the sky, she could not believe her eyes. It was what appeared to be a witch.
No
What
way.
the fuck? I just got
No,
cold
it
chills. I was
wasn't.
thinking aliens for sure.
I thought it was aliens.
There was a full moon that night, and it was very big, and the way their house was located, when you looked at the moon, it was not up in the sky, but in the horizon. My grandma said that when she looked at it, it was sitting on what appeared to be a broom, but the brush part of the broom looked like it was a giant ball of fire, and she was dressed in
There's no way.
all black and had a black pointy hat just like they're portrayed, which is hilarious because we didn't fucking plan this and we're reading it on Halloween.
Yeah.
And Robin's dressed like a witch, but not the traditional witch.
Oh, haha.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
You're a Hufflepuff witch. I just got that. I kind of thought the story was bullshit after she said that, but the fact that she not only saw it was what made me believe her, but that not only she saw it. That's how it was written. Excuse me. My grandma then yelled to everyone else in the house that there was a witch out there. Instead, my grandma's brother grabbed his gun and ran outside. When he pulled the trigger, the bullets wouldn't come out. He tried several times to no avail. Afterwards, they all saw this witch back off and fly away. Afterwards, my grandmother said that the witch was probably going after my aunt, since witches were known to steal infants/children to use them for sacrifices or consume them. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Once again, sorry the story is pretty long, and I hope you guys liked it. Alex.
Thank you so much,
I really liked
Alex.
it.
Yeah,
it's
that's
really good.
That was like a twist I was not expecting.
What a twist.
I thought it was going to be aliens and some UFO, but I would have never expected a witch.
Where my head went at the end of this story when the witch flies away is that what if the witch totally existed and the grandma was 100% friends with that witch, and the grandma was like, yo, dog, come scare the shit out of my daughter because she's being a little fucking brat. And the witch just flew by, was like, no gunshots, and then flew away. Oh my God. Like, that'd just be so funny to me if that was the case. But that was a really, really good story and perfectly appropriate for Halloween too. So I really appreciate that one. Thank you so much for sending it in. It looks like 143am has donated 100 bits to us on
Thank you so much.
The Twitch. And thank you. We appreciate that 100%. So
going into our next story, this one goes the title is Sleepwalking ? It goes, hello, Robin and Adam.
hello.
I'm Natalie and I love your podcast. I have a weird story to tell you, and for some background, I have never sleepwalked in my life, and that's all right.
Good backstory.
Nice.
You're not a sleepwalker. Good to know, because I have a feeling that you're about to sleepwalk, and it's going to get fucking creepy.
So one day, a year ago or so, I was packing for a camping trip. Around this time, I got a terrible migraine, so my solution to this is to take naps, and it helps me. So I told my mom, I'm going to go take a nap to help this, and my mom said, okay, so I did. Know this, I do not remember a lot of this, so I'm going with what my mom and little sister's story was.
Yep, this is going to get creepy.
Really?
Yep. We were at, just a side note, we were at a birthday dinner for Robin recently. You going to sneeze?
No.
You made it through? Cool. And my dad had taken us out, and I brought up the word sleepwalking, and he just looked at me, he's like, do you still do that? And I was like, no. He's like, the shit you used to do. I'm like, yeah, I know. I don't need to hear about it anymore. I've been shamed my entire life for this. So let's get into this one.
My mom said we were getting back from the store when we heard you upstairs thinking you were up. We called your name. You walked downstairs crying, so I asked you what happened. You said, I don't remember, sobbing. I noticed something was off, then I saw your eyes. They were kind of white out. That's kind of
super
creepy.
Fucking creepy, yeah.
My mom took me to the dining room and asked me questions like, what's your sister's name? And I said, I don't remember.
Wow.
That's really creepy. Then asked for my cat's name, and I said, Piston, which is right.
You remember the cat, but not your sister.
It's like,
that's fucked up.
I hate my siblings.
That's
I don't
so
need to remember
funny.
their names. No, but then what scares me the most was when she when she asked me if I had a dog, and if so, what's his name? I said, I don't know. And why this scares me is because I think I was somewhat awake and in my head screaming, it's Bertram. But I can only say I don't know and I don't remember.
That's fucking so weird.
I was screaming and scared my head when this happened because I didn't know why I couldn't say it. My mom realized I was somewhat asleep and led me to my bed. She said I knocked out once I was on the bed. That's my story. Sorry for the mistakes. I'm in the car typing on my phone. Forgot to say Spotify for life.
Wow.
Love you guys and hope you have a scariest time.
Thank you for sending that in. That's
yeah,
super
thank
creepy.
you so much.
I've never had the experience when I was sleepwalking where I was awake enough where I knew I was like existing in the world but couldn't control my body. That would be 100% terrifying. Yeah. That's what I imagine like when we watch shows like The Exorcist. Like that's what I imagine possession is like. Where you can see through your eyes, you see all the shit happening and like someone's just at the helm. Someone's just controlling your body and you can't do anything.
My fear is that the part of The Exorcist where she's laying there and there's someone else in the room with her, talking to her, making her do these things, and she has no control over it, and no one else can see it.
Yeah.
Like, that freaks me out.
Yeah, sleepwalking is definitely a super creepy experience. I've woken up while sleepwalking and been like, where the fuck am I? Like, that has happened to me multiple times in my life, so I'm very happy that I don't have that happen anymore.
Yeah.
Cool. So, okay, this next one is the last one that I have for the night, and the subject is Hello, Prophetic Dreams, and the Countrywide Goodbye. So that's a really long subject. And
I'm interested.
Are you?
Yeah,
it's
very
an attention
intrigued.
grabber. And the email starts out like this. Hi, Robin and Adam.
Hi.
Hello. You guys haven't fucked up our names in a while, and we do appreciate that because we've had a lot of emails like for like a period of
my
time.
Name to Robin Graves.
Wow. Well, they don't put your last name on here, so no big
Damn.
deal. But I've been hooked on you guys for the past 6 months, not just for the spooks, but also your dynamic. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Both as podcast co-hosts and as a couple who have me constantly and inappropriately laughing at work, in parentheses, and more recently on a plane full of people.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's hilarious. I'm glad that you guys enjoy us.
I randomly laugh out in public sometimes, and Adam's like, why are you laughing? I don't understand.
I laugh like when I'm listening to whatever podcast I'm listening to. But you'll just be looking at your phone. Like, you'll be running into poles while you walk, and then you'll like laugh because you're like seeing a new meme. And then she tries to show it to me like while I'm driving, like today. And I'm just like, I can't. I'm just like looking over, and I know my face is, I can't fucking read that. I'm driving. And then she was just like, oh, I'll show it to you when we stop so you can read it. I was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I love reading manga because I'm in my own little world of romance and adorableness. And then I'll just start laughing randomly or squealing because someone finally kissed someone, or
she starts losing her mind.
Yeah,
It's so
and then
funny.
the volume ends and I get irritated. But,
yeah,
you know.
Books end sometimes. I remember the feeling of sitting down and just reading a book from cover to cover and just staying up as long as I needed to, and then being like, shit, now I have to wait for the next one to come out. This is going to take forever. And if you read Game of Thrones, you really wait.
Right? I was going to say.
Holy shit.
George R. R. Martin's like, I'll get redirect, son.
All right, I'm going to get back to this email because it's
go.
long. In a recent, and in parentheses, probably like months ago now, live stream, someone brought up a story of a loved one. I like that they know how far behind we are, so they're like, probably months ago.
You.
Accurate. Someone brought up a story of a loved one visiting the entire family to say goodbye. This, in turn, reminded me of a tragic part of my childhood that rocked a community to its core. Holy shit. I was in middle school at the time and had recently moved from Houston to Indianapolis for various reasons, and I had a tough time making friends with people.
That's a really big change.
That is, and that's really big different culture, too, from Texas to
really
Indianapolis. Mainly people were racist and cruel, and I couldn't get with it. So I turned to talking with my Texas friends whenever I had the chance. I'm from Indiana, and I can say, like, yeah, I had to deal with a lot of that shit growing up, too. I was the only Puerto Rican kid, and it kind of fucking sucked.
And I'm from Texas, so I know the other side of that little pendulum thingy.
Right. So, anyways, a few weeks before Christmas break, my friends and I had a lengthy conversation about plans we intended to carry out when I got back into town. I couldn't have been more excited to see the friends I had missed so dearly. A couple of nights later, I had a strange dream. I found myself standing on a deserted overpass on a highway. There was darkness everywhere save for a lone street lamp illuminating the spot in front of me.
That's creepy.
Underneath the light was a dark blue 1990s sedan. In parentheses, this was super important later. I walked towards the car to get a better look inside, but what looked like blood covered every window.
Shut up.
And nothing was visible through it. As I reached out to touch the window, a large sound as if metal was being shredded like paper snapped me out of my dream. Sweating and unsure what stirred this nightmare, I went to the kitchen to chug a glass of water.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think I know where this is going to.
Oh, please, no murder.
As I turned, I don't know about that. I'm thinking it's a car accident.
Oh, okay.
As I turned the corner from my room, I saw a black, smoky figure standing next to my sink. It came towards me quickly, knocking a pan that was in the drying rack to the floor with a loud crash. My hair blew back as if I had just opened the door during frigid winter. A feeling of sadness, fear, but also comfort washed over me. Before I could react, my mom ran into the room to ask me what I thought I was doing up so late, not believing that I didn't knock over the pan and to get back to bed. Fast forward 2 days when my sister called me to the basement asking if two names sounded familiar. After a quick response of yes, she bluntly replied, "They're dead." Holy shit, man. That's some cold ass shit.
Oh,
I hardly heard the snapback from my mom, and I ran upstairs to the phone. I rang another mutual friend She sounded so normal at first, but when I got to the question I feared, she got silent and confirmed that 2 nights ago, so the night she had the nightmare, a group of my friends ran out of gas on the way back from a concert. The older boy who had driven them called his father for help and was instructed to stay in the car. Minutes later, a highly intoxicated driver decided to use the emergency lane as an exit lane and hit the back of their car doing 90 plus miles an hour.
Oh my god.
That is fucked up, dude. As a kid, you don't think anything like that's going to happen, and like you do stupid stuff when you're driving your car. But like as an adult and you have more of that shit start to happen, and you see more of your friends pass away in automobile accidents, like there's times where we're driving and I just see something happen and I'm like, man, that could have gone a different way. And I'll ask her while we're driving. I'll ask Robin, like, do you ever think about like what would happen if this happened? Like you start thinking about different scenarios where like just something slightly different and you could have died while you were driving. And she has the same thing that runs through her head. And I think that happens the older you get. And it's shit like this that makes you start doing that. So let me get back to it. Janet died on impact. Another friend I grew up with, Megan, survived in agony for another 20 minutes before passing away. And by some miracle, the last person in the back seat, CJ, who was thought to be dead on arrival, they found his pulse at the morgue, holy shit, managed to survive along with the young driver and his other passenger. To say I was in shock and heartbroken was an understatement. Instead of flying back for a fun visit, I was flying back for 2 funerals.
That's really crappy.
That's horrible.
That dude, what the fuck is his... Oh, I hate people. I hate irresponsible people.
Yeah. Anyways, getting back to it. After much pleading, my parents moved us back to Houston 5 months later, and I was able to attend the trial. The first set of crime scene photos were hard to bear, but not solely on their content. In parentheses, warning, graphic, which is good to know because anyone who's squeamish can skip forward. The first photo was of a dark blue 1990s sedan under a lone streetlight. From the trunk to the back of the back seat no longer existed, and what was supposed to be the head of my friend, which had been shoved through the glass in the rear driver's side window on impact, pouring out blood. Holy shit.
Fuck no.
I instantly recalled my nightmare and cried out, having to run from the courtroom. After the first day of the trial, a group of us sat around and tried to pull ourselves together and talk about our favorite memories. The sister of one of the deceased chimed in to say her sister, Megan, and Janet came in that night to tell her goodbye. They'd had a fight about Megan skipping her birthday party to go to the concert that night. She woke up late to find her sister kneeling down to kiss her and tell her she was sorry, then closed the door gently as she left. Shaken, I told her my experience with the dream.
Oh
I have
my
God.
I have
my
chills.
Fucking arms are just covered right now.
I have chills, dude.
I told her my experience with the dream and shadow in the kitchen, which made my friends and family chime in excitedly to say that they experienced the same states apart. Janet was more than just a friend to me. She was the first girl I ever liked as more than a friend. And during my struggle with my orientation, holy shit, I want to cry. We met in gym class, not through words, but through a kind of smile she gave me from across the room. I had been bullied by frenemies the entire year. Oh, I fucking hate it.
I hate it. We just had someone talking in
the Discord. Yeah, that's what
dude, if people are treating you like shit, they're not your friends.
They're not your fucking friends. Friends don't treat you like shit like that. Friends bust your balls. Friends don't tell you horrible, horrible things.
Yeah.
It's just, you are 100% okay in your life to cut people off and say, like, I'm not fucking dealing with them anymore. Just as a side note for anyone who has to deal with shit like that. So, I had been bullied by frenemies the entire year and hadn't had anyone treat me as genuinely nice as her. I know she came that night to say goodbye, and since I have never let any friend go without a sober ride from anywhere. I even take them back to my place to sleep it off and make a pancake breakfast the next morning.
Nice.
As for my other friend CJ, he survived but had injuries leaving him trapped in his own body with no way to communicate or move.
Oh.
I have a friend that had that happen to them too. There were never short of 15 kids in his house a day to take care of him and help his family. After many personal tragedies in their family following the accident, he suffered a massive seizure and passed just 2 years after the accident.
Wow.
It made so many people come together and made lifelong connections with some pretty awesome people. Like, tragedies like that really do show you like what people are really about, you know, and like it just, as horrible as it is to have happen to you, it's like the one time where it puts everything in your life into perspective and you realize like that shit doesn't fucking matter at all, and this is the shit that does.
Yeah.
So try and keep that in mind when something really horrible happens, because like I've had to keep that in mind, and even though it doesn't feel like a bright side, it's definitely something that you see a little bit when you're going through the grieving process, where you're like, well, you know, at least I'm reminded of what actually fucking matters and what really doesn't, and you don't, get upset about the petty shit anymore, you know? And it's just something that I would recommend trying to keep in your head if something like this winds up happening to anyone out there. I will never forget those three. I will never forget those three, and they will always hold a special place in my heart. Sorry for the extra long story. It would be way longer if I was talking aloud. I tend to drone on. Yep, same here. As always, feel free to read on your podcast more crazy stories from the past as well as prophetic dreams to come. Stay spooky and awesome. Ya gal pal Val.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so much for
sending
sharing
that, Val.
Such,
that is
like a personal story.
That
too.
is super personal, and like I relate to it on a lot of different levels, and I think a lot of people that listen probably do, and they're probably thinking like, I have a story too, and I don't know if I should send it in. And if you're comfortable sharing that, absolutely do it. And if you think it would help to talk about it and you want people to hear it, totally send it in. And if you don't want it to be shared but you do want to talk about it with someone, you can email us and Robin and I will respond. So it's storytime@scarish.com or any of the other ways that you can get a hold of us. And if you have a story like that and you just don't feel like sharing, that's totally fine too. It happens to everyone. And you know what people tell you, like, it helps to talk about it. Well, sometimes it doesn't help to talk about it. Like, you're just not ready. So don't let people force you into like emotional growth that you're not fucking ready or prepared for.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sending that in, Val, one last time.
So this one goes, okay, so I will start with what started everything.
What's the subject for your email, Robin?
My ghost/demon stories.
There you go. So that's really setting the tone now.
Yeah, but then spoilers.
How is that spoilers? It's a subject.
Well, now you know there's ghosts and demons.
Well, I think they put that on there appropriately so that the first line would be like, okay, now we begin.
It was about 3 years ago. I was having a sleepover with my friends, Alan and Aiden, and my room was in the basement. No. Why?
They can't hear you staring at the camera in the audio version.
I can't.
She's just stunned.
And there's this stairway that's supposed to have a door on it, but it doesn't. Anyway, so me and my friends Alan and Aiden were making some YouTube video thing, and we made a scene where me and Alan had to get out of my room and go to this other room to get my friend Aiden. P.S. It's like 2 or 3 at night. So we go to that room, and we had to chase Aiden out of that room and into the laundry room, which is right next to the stairway, and we have to fake kill him in the scene. And we finish recording, and we're still in the laundry room. We look at the video in there, and it turns out that he had it on time lapse. So we were like, Aiden, you idiot. So we start walking out, and Alan looks up to the stairs, and he sees what seems to be a kid poking his head out a little, and the kid slowly backs out, and we find out about this, and we run back into my room like, what the fuck? Alan starts telling us about how he had a sister who died before she was born. And when Alan was a kid, his mom had another baby. And so the mom went to go check on her, and she saw this little girl in the room looking over his sister's crib, and the girl disappears.
Wow. That reminds me of some of the stories that I just told in the episode that came out today.
This is really freaking creepy.
Yeah.
And Alan says he thinks it was her who was the kid that was peeking down the stairs. So to the demon story.
Oh, God.
It was the first day of summer after 8th grade, which was 2 years ago. Oh, it's the 10th grade. You're a little baby. And we made a thing where me, my friends, Alan, Aiden, and Ben would have a sleepover. And we still lived in the basement. So it was around 12 a.m. when my friend Aiden, joking, says, hey, we should try meditation. No.
What's wrong with meditation?
It's just like, it's like they're not doing it to relax. They're doing it like to
reach out to something?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's also not a good thing.
And we were like, okay, that sounds cool. So we all sit next to each other. Sorry, I didn't mean to have stuff for super
That was really funny, though.
Dude, I'm just like...
That was mean.
It was just like, it's 8-year-old, or 8th grade antics. You know, you're a little kid, and you're like, yeah, that sounds cool, let's do it.
Right. Okay, really fast as a side note. I've been internally debating this. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but I'm just going to go ahead and share this with you guys. So I've mentioned before, my brother has issues. My brother's a paranoid schizophrenic. And when he was lucid, he had a good couple years in there where he was like doing really well. And we sat down and we talked about it a little bit. And I asked him, what was the first time you heard a voice in your head that wasn't yours? Because I wanted to know what he was going through so I could kind of see it from his perspective. Because I had been dealing with like the side of the disease where it's just very hard to do. And it's like I had my brother back, you know? And he said the first time I ever had anything like that happen was when, I remember this very vividly too, he was getting into yoga. He was very, very well in shape, and he was very mentally strong, which is why it was so shocking when it started happening. And my brother told me the first time I ever heard a voice in my head, I was meditating, and I kept putting out in my mind, is there anything out there? and something answered him. And since then, it's never stopped. And I think about that every single time we do any story about possession or anything like that. So this just, hearing that, I'm just like, oh God, like, no, please don't do that. And it's just one of those things. Something I heard about in college too. One of my professors told me, like, people try and make themselves mentally strong, and they don't understand that they're opening themselves up and making themselves weaker. And I remember asking my professor, like, what are you talking about? And she told me the brighter your light burns, the longer of a shadow it casts. And some people are not prepared to deal with that. And super creepy shit.
Yeah. So that's why I'm just like, yeah, meditation sounds awesome.
Meditation is for relaxing, not for trying to reach out to stuff.
So we were like, okay, that sounds cool. So we all sit next to each other in a circle, and we do that one meditation sitting where you crisscross applesauce and our knees.
I don't know what's going on with that sentence.
Crisscross applesauce. Maybe that's a thing in a region that we're not used to.
Yeah, someone let us know what crisscross applesauce means.
You probably like sit there with your, you know how you sit
cross-legged?
For cross-legged. Well, not like how we sit cross-legged.
I know
adults,
what you mean.
But,
yeah.
And our knees are touching while we're in the circle, and we think this is what made it start. So we meditate for 20 minutes with our eyes closed, and we stop. And me and my friend Alan, we watched a lot of Naruto.
That's funny.
So we were like, hey, let's see if we can use our chakra. And I shit you not, it worked. Oh my gosh, guys, if you watch Naruto, like, chakra is how you do everything in Naruto, okay? And like, it's just like your inner power that you release. That's how they walk on water and stuff. But we start messing around with the chakra, and we did this thing where one of us would close our eyes, stick our arm out, and look away, and the other one would try to twist the wrist of the person who had their eyes closed with the chakra, and it would work. It was crazy. So it was my turn to close my eyes and look away, and they twisted my wrist with the chakra, and it felt like someone would grab your wrist and twist it even before it happened to me. That was what my friend Ben described it as. And we were like, we should meditate again to see if we could level up or whatever. But it's totally...
How much experience did they get from that first event?
It's totally like 8th grade shit, you know, where you're just like a kid and you're like, let's just do all this stuff we watch in anime. Seriously, I used to do that.
I don't know. In 8th grade, I remember one of my friends being like, man, I wish so much that I could create an energy blast like in Dragon Ball Z. And they were just so sad that it just did not, like, energy manipulation like that isn't a thing. And I just remember them saying it to me like, I just wish so bad.
Yeah, I used to literally throw like Pokeballs around and be like, I chose you.
But did you actually think it was going to catch something?
No, but it was fun.
I mean, yeah, it's fun to pretend when you're a kid. But let's keep going.
I was not a kid. I was like fucking 13, man.
That's a kid.
You're still a
kid. You're still a kid at 28 for what? 2 more hours.
Oh, you're so nice.
You're welcome.
Okay, so this time let's turn off the lights and all lay on the bed and close our eyes. So we do that for about 5 minutes, and I feel a dark presence, and I'm freaking out in my head, and I say, yo, someone turned on the light. And maybe 20 seconds pass, and the feeling gets worse, and I'm like, turn the light on right now, and they turn it on. And my friend Alan gasped for air, and we didn't really care till like 20 seconds later he says, thank you, David, you saved me. And I was like, what? And he tells us that he was facing upwards, laying down straight, and the room we were in had no windows, and the lights were off, so he's laying down, and he opens his eyes, he can't move, and he sees this dark demon thing with really sharp nails reaching down at his chest, and it's right about to touch him, but then the lights turn on, and it's 2 a.m. So we didn't want to stop meditating because it's really cool. Our friend Aiden said, nah, guys, I don't think this is a good idea, we should stop, but we were like, you pussy.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Your friend with sense. You're going to give him shit.
So now it's just me, my friends, Alan and Ben, who are meditating, and we make our knees touch, and we did this thing where we would all think about something and say it at the same time, and we always said the same thing. So an hour's passed, and it's maybe 3:30, and me and my friend Alan started sneaking out about a year ago, so we got our friends Aiden and Ben to join us this time. We all started creeping up the stairs and to the door to the backyard. It's right next to the stairs. So we slowly close the door, we go past the fence, and we make a run for it. We start running to a gas station that's really close to my house, and it's not even like 30 feet from my house. While we're running under a streetlight, I see this pure black shadow looking. All I can see is the color for its eyes. And it's a white for its eyes, and it had really sharp nails, and it's standing there looking straight at me, and I stop running.
Why would you stop running when you saw that? Shouldn't you run faster? I'm so confused about this reaction. This is one of those moments, if I'm watching this on TV, I'm like, no one would fucking act like that. No one would act like that. But apparently someone did, so.
I asked if they see it, and they're like, see what? And I tell them, and they ask if we should go back. I say, nah, let's go to the gas station. And the whole way, we felt a dark presence, and we feel like we're going to die. And I just tell them, don't look at windows and mirrors, because that's how demons travel. I totally think that.
I think that's how you can see them sometimes, but I don't know if that's the only way they can travel.
Yeah.
Don't make assumptions about what something's capable of doing. You would underestimate it in that case.
Oh my God. Okay. So we make it to the gas station, we get snacks, go back home, and I explain what I saw with more detail. My friend Alan twitches by turning his head really fast, and I'm like, what the fuck? It happens again and again, and he says something is trying to snap my neck. He also says he feels like he's being moved like a marionette. And I'm, cut the strings as a joke. And I try to concentrate the chakra to my hand and karate chop behind his back and on top of his head, and he isn't twitching anymore or anything, and then nothing else happens for the rest of the night. I live upstairs now, and I think we opened a portal to some shit, because crazy shit has happened, but I think that's good enough for now. Love, Breezy Salsa.
Thank you for sending that in, Breezy Salsa. That is some bizarre shit. So, I don't know. Someone over in our stream chat, I noticed while we were discussing what was going on, mentioned that you can get that same effect with peyote. So
what?
I would hope that that's not the case in your experience and this wasn't drug-induced, but it is definitely fucking bizarre, and I've not seen a combination of chakras and demons before, but I haven't watched enough Naruto, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
But I can pronounce it correctly because Robin corrects me every time I say Naruto, so that's a good thing.
Don't say that.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. Okay.
That one was really intense. Thank you for sending that in, though.
Thank you so much. I totally understand the whole chakra thing, though, Naruto.
Like trying to do it yourself?
No, not doing it myself, but the whole concept behind it. But yeah, so thank you guys for being on this really awesome stream for Halloween. Sorry we couldn't do it on the regular night, but we're really happy that those that don't get to join us for Wednesdays were able to join us tonight.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Thank you guys for coming out.
Don't forget, we do have a Patreon. If you guys could support us on there, it'd be great. Patreon.com/scarishpodcast. We are trying to make more exclusive content. Like Adam was saying, we're going to be making little special tidbitty videos. Not
tidbitty, not titty bitty.
No, yeah. We're going to make some little extra fun videos of kind of scary, spooky stuff.
The stuff we're releasing tomorrow, the extra thing that we're going to be releasing for you guys, and anyone who's listening via audio, it's gonna be actually 2 days ago when you're listening to this. The Halloween bonus stuff that you've already seen, that's going to be the stuff we're going to be releasing for Patreon subscribers only, but Halloween special. So we want to give you guys all something. That's going to be audio only, though.
Oh, I thought it was a video. Never mind.
So, but we're working on some other stuff too. So, and then there's other stuff that you guys can do as well. Coffee.com/scarishpodcast, spelled ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast, is where you can do a one-time donation without signing up for a monthly donation. And those also help as well. We were able to get our pass-through upgraded for the video stuff. It's been very helpful. So you guys have helped us so much with that, and we really appreciate that. And then if you guys want to reach out to us to get your story read on a Storytime episode, email storytime@scarish.com. Facebook.com/scarishpodcast. You can message us there, like the page, join Scarish Spooky Friends group. You can post it there for some instant feedback. You can go to scarish.com, which is our website. Scroll down on the right-hand side. You're going to notice there's something that says join us on Discord. Click that. It'll take you to our Discord server. Or you can go to Instagram, which is @scarishpodcast, or you can tweet at us on Twitter @scarishpod. There's a million different things for you guys to do to reach out to us, and we appreciate you. Everyone that reaches out to us in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
Big shout out to 143am who just resubscribed on Prime for the second month. It says, 1 more hour, happy birthday.
Aw, oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's a different time zone, but we're getting there. We're almost there. So I just want to thank everyone one more time that came out to watch us live, and everyone that's listening right now at home. We appreciate every single one of you. So thank you so much. There's been so much an outpouring of love for Robin's birthday.
Thank you so much for all the birthday wishes. You guys are so awesome. Don't forget, we have Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff.
All that stuff we already said.
Yep. So, yeah. And then we will see you guys this weekend.
Yeah. For those of you listening right now, we are going to be out in LA. So if you want to go to Disneyland on Sunday, the 4th.
The 4th. Yeah, I think it's the 4th.
That's when we're going to be there.
It's also Dapper Day at Disneyland.
So it's going to be busy as fuck.
So it is going to be busy. We're probably not going to get a lot of rides.
I also don't plan on looking very dapper. So don't even worry about that.
I think I'll wear a dress maybe.
I'll look just like plain, I'm going to be in jeans and a t-shirt because I'm not going to go.
Yeah, and if you're at BlizzCon, feel free to message us on Facebook. And
we already have someone we're gonna totally visit with, meet up with at BlizzCon.
I love cosplayers. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see a whole bunch of people. So,
if you guys are out there for any of those reasons, we would love to meet you guys. We met some folks here in Vegas.
Yeah, someone literally, Sarah and her hubby came to visit us out here in Vegas. They didn't really come to visit us, but
they were here.
They were here, and we got to meet them, and it was super awesome. So yeah, it'd be super cool to meet you guys. Can't wait to be in Anaheim.
I can't wait for BlizzCon. I'm so fucking hyped for this.
I'm gonna get my Disney pin that says my birthday.
Yep, it's gonna be a good time. So if you guys are out there, we hope to see you. If not, we will see you. Oh wait, we added that sign out thing. Do you want to do it or should I do it?
Oh yeah. Keep on creeping on, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.